This tutorial is a presentation on how to transfer data from your GPS to BaseCamp or from BaseCamp to your GPS. The first thing we're going to do is to connect our GPS to the computer. At the moment we're using the basic maps and we don't have our GPS connected yet. As soon as it's connected, we will be able to have the very nice map provided by Garmin. So the device Rhino just appeared now, and I can then switch to the topo terrain map, the one that are available inside. Here we go. So there are much better maps. Okay, so let's have a look first what we've got inside our GPS. If I'm going inside internal devices, which is my Rhino 650 here, I can see I've got different tracks and different waypoints inside the GPS. Here they are on the right side. So we've got all sort of tracks, and I also have some point. This one is somewhere where it shouldn't be. Here we go. Sometime when your GPS hasn't capture satellite yet, it will be somewhere in the Pacific or in Taiwan, so you can delete these files. It's much better now. Okay, so you've got all this data inside your GPS and you want to transfer them inside your My Collection in the right place. So what I was doing, all these are related to fire work that was done a while ago. So in My Collection, inside my computer, I've got a file folder and two different subfolders, 2014, 2015, and I've got different area here. So I'm just going to create a new list for this specific data inside my library. I'm going to do a right click in 2015, create a new list. I'm going to call it East NT. And what I want to do, I want to transfer this data inside the right place. So basically these waypoints, these two waypoints, I want them to go inside East NT. So I can do that one after the other, or I can also use my control key and click and select the one I want as well. So I want to select these two, and I'm just going to drag and drop them inside East NT. So now what I'm doing, I'm copying the data from the GPS inside BaseCamp. And if I'm now looking at East NT, I have my 2 points. I don't have the tracks and the rest yet, but I only got these. So if I'm going back to my device again, and this time I want to copy the first 2 tracks, or let's say this one, inside East NT. So what I've done, I've just copied 2 waypoints and 1 track. And if I'm looking on my BaseCamp library, so if I'm looking at East NT, I've got my 2 waypoints and my track. The other data that are left is this waypoint and these 2 other tracks. I want them to go into area 20, so I can do the same thing. I can hold the control key and select multiple items. Got this tree, and I'm going to drag and drop this data inside area 20. This is done. So in area 20 we've got 1 waypoint, 2 tracks. This one there, 1 track there, and in East NT I've got what I want. I could disconnect my GPS now, but I want to keep it for the because I want to keep the maps, and also I'm going to send some data from the library to the GPS. Before we do this, I'm just going to have a look and change a few things. I want to change the color and the name of these tracks. So let's say I'm going to which one? Let's say this one in area 20. The name that we've got here is not suitable, and I want to change this a bit. I'm not going to edit the track, it's going to be in another tutorial. So what I can do a right click on the track, and I can go to rename, and I can call it like a date, 12 January 2015. And that's now the name of the track. If I don't like the color, I can do a double click on the track. Okay, and that's give me access to the different points. So if I'm going to page down, I can see all the helicopters moving around there. But what I want to do, I want to change the color, which is at the top here. So from cyan to red. And I can also change the name if I want to. And you have also some other thing available here. If I close this, now my track is red and it's got the right name. I can do the same thing with this waypoint called LK here. I can do a right click and rename if I want to. LK01. If I also want to change the little icon associated with the with this waypoint, I can double click on it. It will take me to the waypoint. I can also change the name, but I can change what they call the display, and I can give it another icon. And now I've got a round thing there. So very easy to modify and to adapt. Now you can of course move things around. If you realize that this waypoint should be in Area 1 for 2014, you just have to drag and drop it, and it will be moved as well. So it's a sort of a copy it straight away. So if we don't need it into Area 20, we can delete it then. Select it and delete, and it will be in Area 1 only. So very easy to manage your library with folders. Once you've imported the data from your GPS to BaseCamp, and if you decide that you don't need this data anymore inside the GPS, you can go back to your GPS on the internal storage and delete the data you don't want. So if you think that all these waypoint and these view tracks are not necessary anymore, you just select what you want and just do right click delete. So what we've done, we've deleted them from your GPS. So GPS don't have this data anymore, but they're still available in your collection, in your library, inside the computer. So the thing now is that I want to create tracks and a few waypoints in BaseCamp and then send them into the GPS because I want to do some work on the field. So let's say I want to go with the helicopter to do some different areas. So the first thing I'm going to do, let's say in 2015, I'm just going to create a simple list right now, a new list, 2015, called new work. And inside this list, I'm just going to simply create a few waypoints. So let's say I'm going to click on the red flag to create a new waypoint, and I'm going to create one here, one there, one there. So I've got this gender name, so I don't realize this name is put for me, so I'm gonna put start. You can click on it and click another time, it will allow you to rename it, or you can do a right click rename, and this one is and this one is refuel. Okay, and I can also, if I want to, double click on it and change some of the flag if I want to. This for the start, double click, change the icon again, I want that's for the end, and the refuel maybe something like blue. Okay, I got my starting point. Very nice. Oh no, I was still with the new waypoint activated, so I click and I've made a mistake. So what I can do, I can just select this number 3, delete, and I can then change to the pan, and I can move things around. Now what I want to do, I want to create maybe 2 tracks. So I want to create, let's say, the first one. So I'm going to click on new track here, left click, from the start button, and I'm going to do, let's say, this. And then I'm going to refuel here. So my last one is going to be a double click on refuel. Okay, and you name it track, and I'm gonna do a right click rename and call it 001. I'm going to do the same thing again, so I'm still on new track. From the refuel, this time I'm going to click like that, and I'm gonna just do a bit more of this, because I want to go and see in this river here what's going on, following the escarpment, and I will come back there, and then I'll do a double click. So I've got my second track done, and I'm going to rename it. Rename 002. I've done a really good job for my new work inside my new work list, and I want to take that with me in the plane or in the car, but I want to put it into my GPS. So I'm just going to click on the pen just to be sure I can move things around. And just I forgot about this, I'm just going to change the color of it as well. So if I'm doing a double click on my track 001, I'm going to change the color to green. Okay, and the second one, I want it to be probably blue. Very good. So I still have, you can separate, and if you cannot really see everything you've got, you can go in the middle here and move things around and organize them properly. Same thing for this. So I want to move all this data inside my GPS. And so it's very simple. I just have to, if I want to select them all like that, I can do a selection, or I can select with the control key and click the one I want. I don't want start, or I want start. Or you can do them one by one. The easiest way is probably to do this like that. And what I have to do is just drag and drop all this data inside internal storage. So this data is still on my computer, and at the same time it's going to be on my GPS. And if I click on internal storage now to see what's inside the GPS, I can see I've got all my old data, and I got my 3 new waypoints and my track. So this is how we transfer data from into the GPS using BaseCamp.